If you were to stand in the coldest place on Earth, the first thing you would notice is not the temperature. It is the emptiness. The horizon stretches without interruption. No trees. No mountains. Just a gentle rise and fall of ice shaped by wind and time. The sky feels larger here, as though nothing stands between you and space itself. And in a way, very little does. The East Antarctic Plateau sits high above sea level, lifted into the thin upper reaches of Earth's atmosphere. At more than 13,000 feet, the air already carries less warmth simply because there is less of it. Pressure drops. Molecules spread apart. Heat escapes more easily. During the long polar winter, the sun sinks below the horizon and does not return for months. Without sunlight, the ice sheet radiates its remaining heat upward into the blackness of space. There are no clouds to trap it. No moisture to hold it close. Water vapor, one of the atmosphere's most effective insulators, is nearly absent here. The air is so dry that snow rarely falls as flakes. Instead, ice accumulates slowly through drifting crystals carried by wind. This dryness is part of why the cold deepens so severely. Heat leaves. Nothing replaces it. The air cools and grows denser. And as it grows denser, gravity pulls it gently downward into shallow depressions carved into the ice. There it settles, layer upon layer, becoming colder still. These are the cold traps, invisible basins of air that quietly reach temperatures no other place on Earth can match. At -128 degrees Fahrenheit, you are standing near the edge of what Earth's atmosphere can produce. Your breath forms a pale cloud that hangs longer than expected. The moisture in your lungs meets the outside air and instantly begins to crystallize. Each exhale feels heavy. Each inhale sharp. Your eyelashes frost together. The exposed skin on your cheeks stings. Not because it is simply cold, but because blood vessels beneath the surface are tightening, narrowing, retreating inward to preserve warmth for the organs that matter most. Your body understands the danger even if you do not. The cold is not emotional here. It is mechanical. Temperature measures motion. At this level of cold, molecules vibrate more slowly. Chemical reactions lose speed. Materials contract as their atomic bonds pull closer together. Steel that might flex in ordinary winter becomes fragile. A sudden impact can cause it to fracture cleanly. The same is true for you. Water inside cells begins to freeze from the outside inward. Ice crystals form like tiny shards, pressing against membranes that evolved for fluidity, not rigidity. Frostbite is not merely skin freezing. It is tissue being reshaped at a microscopic level. And yet, in this place, life continues, or carefully. Inside research stations, generators hum. Warm air circulates through insulated corridors. Scientists sit at desks analyzing climate data while outside, the world remains suspended in stillness. They drill downward through layers of compacted snow and ancient ice, pulling from the Earth a record that spans nearly 1 million years. Within those ice cores are tiny bubbles, pockets of atmosphere trapped when that layer first formed. Each bubble contains air that was once breathed by mammoths. Air that existed before human civilization. Air from a planet colder, warmer, shifting in rhythms far slower than modern politics or news cycles. The cold preserves these whispers of time. It holds them intact. And because of that preservation, we know that Antarctica has not always been frozen. There were eras when this continent was green. Fossilized roots and leaves buried beneath the ice tell the story of forests that once thrived here. Dinosaurs walked under skies that felt nothing like the sharp, dry air of today. But continents drift. Ocean currents shift. When Antarctica finally settled firmly over the South Pole and the Antarctic circumpolar current began spinning uninterrupted around it, warm waters could no longer reach its shores. The continent became isolated, thermally cut off. Ice began to grow. Not in a season, not in a century, but slowly, over millions of years. Layer by layer. The weight of that ice now presses downward, shaping the crust beneath it. In some regions, the bedrock lies far below sea level, pushed down by the mass above. The ice sheet is not static. It flows, almost imperceptibly, moving outward like a slow river of frozen water. And beneath it, hidden from sight, are lakes. Lake Vostok remains liquid under nearly 13,000 feet of ice because pressure lowers the freezing point of water, and geothermal heat seeps upward from Earth's interior. In that sealed darkness, microbial life may persist. Isolated for millions of years, untouched by surface weather or sunlight. The coldest place on Earth is layered. Ice over water. Air over ice. Silence over everything. And then there is the wind. Katabatic winds form when dense, cold air slides down the plateau under gravity's pull. These winds can accelerate to incredible speeds, scouring the surface and redistributing snow. They are invisible rivers flowing downhill, carrying with them the chill of the upper plateau. Sometimes, in the absolute stillness of polar night, the air settles so completely that the world feels frozen not just in temperature, but in time. There are no insects here. No trees to sway. No sound except the occasional distant crack of shifting ice. And yet, if you listen closely, there is movement. The Earth rotates. The moon pulls gently at distant oceans. The atmosphere above, thin and clear, reveals stars with unusual brilliance. With almost no moisture or pollution, the Antarctic sky can appear sharper than anywhere else on the planet. Constellations burn fiercely against blackness. In those moments, the cold feels cosmic. But compared to space, Antarctica is warm. Beyond our atmosphere, temperatures drop toward absolute zero, the point where molecular motion nearly ceases entirely. Antarctica rests between extremes, warmer than the void, colder than nearly any inhabited place. It is Earth's reminder that balance exists on a knife's edge. The coldest place on Earth does not roar or explode. It simply endures. Air sinks. Heat escapes. Ice thickens. Scientists measure. And somewhere, in a shallow hollow in the vast white plateau, the temperature continues to drop just a little lower than anywhere else, untouched, unseen, precise. If you imagine it now, standing there in the silence, you might feel something unexpected. Not fear. Not awe. But clarity. Because at the coldest place on Earth, nothing is hidden behind noise or distraction. Physics reveals itself plainly. The planet's mechanics operate quietly and honestly. And you, wrapped in warmth wherever you are watching this, exist on the same world, one that contains both gentle forests and regions where air freezes breath midday. The coldest place on Earth is not a distant planet. It is part of home. And it waits, silent, at the bottom of the world.